Hey everybody, and welcome back to Lindsey's Little Library. So we're here today because it is Booklist Thursday, and Booklist Thursday is something I do with Sarah over at Sarah's Nightstand. We come to you every Thursday with some sort of book thoughts, ideas, recommendations, something bookish related. So today's video is a pretty fun one, I think. We're going to talk audiobooks. And specifically audiobooks that we really loved from 2023. We kind of thought we'd whittle it down to that, some more recent ones we listened to. Now, not that they necessarily made like our top 10 or 23 or however many list of books from the last year. They may have or they may not have, but we're really just talking about audiobooks that just gave us a really awesome experience, or made, in my opinion, the audiobook made the book even better. So here are my 5. So I'm going to go into them, talk about them, but also narrators and all of that fun stuff. I get my audiobooks from Everand, which used to be Scribd, from Libro FM, from Hoopla, from Overdrive, from NetGalley. I'm kind of wherever I can get my hand on an audiobook. I am way more likely to borrow them than I am to purchase audiobooks. I don't know why or what's different, but it's just what I am. It's just what I do. First one I want to talk about is Stay Awake by Megan Golden. This audiobook is about 11 hours long, so depending upon what speed you listen to it, it may be shorter. The narrators are Imogene Church and January Lavoie. What's really awesome with audiobooks is when I think about the books, I can remember what I was doing. So I was away for a weekend with some girlfriends, and one of my friends had already read this book and like highly recommended it. So I remember listening to it and like being able to react with her like at the same time. It was really, really fun. So this book follows a woman named Liv Reese. She wakes up very randomly on a very random day in the backseat of a taxi and doesn't really know how she got there, why she's there, why she was dressed the way she was. She didn't really remember what happened, but had the taxi take her home to this. It all happens in New York, so she's living in a brownstone. She gets to the brownstone and she comes up to the door and realizes she doesn't have any keys. She knocks on it and a stranger answers it. And now she's really, really confused. So she reaches into her other pocket to grab her phone, realizes her phone is missing, but instead she finds a bloody knife. And as she's looking at her hands, all over her hands and arms are written, "Stay awake, stay awake, stay awake, stay awake, stay awake." And she realizes, after some investigation, she doesn't remember the last 2 years of her life. And there we go. Throughout this, and you'll learn this pretty quick, there is an investigation into a murder, and at the crime scene on the window is written "Stay awake." So she feels like there's a connection there. She's trying to figure out not only what has happened to her in the last 2 years, but also how is she connected to this and where did this bloody knife come from. It is a little bit slow to start. But I want to say I was about a third or a quarter of the way into it, and all of a sudden things really just start picking up. Our narrators do a really, really great job at making you feel this unease from her perspective of like not knowing anything and being worried, and it's crazy. It's crazy. It was so good. And I tend to really enjoy more suspenseful books when I'm listening to them. So that'll come to play in the next one. Next one I want to talk about is Drowning. This is by TJ Newman, and she is such a phenomenal author. I love her. This is just under 8 hours, so if you're looking for something a little bit shorter. This is narrated by Steven Weber and Laura Benanti. I believe that's how I say it. This one follows our main character, Will Kent. Him and his daughter are leaving Hawaii. They get onto the plane, and really quickly after the plane takes off, it crashes into the ocean. There's an explosion. They end up being stuck on the plane as it is sinking into the ocean. And you will not be able to stop listening to that for 8 hours. I remember I was looking for stuff to do because I didn't want to stop listening to it. But that was also phenomenal and will keep you completely engaged in that story. And the narrators do such a good job, again, with that expression of the emotions behind it all. Then we flip to a historical fiction, and I do enjoy historical fictions, especially when there are places or names that I maybe don't know how to necessarily pronounce while I'm reading them. So this is The Diamond Die by Kate Quinn. Loved this book. these couple of books did make it onto my favorites of the year. This one is narrated by Saskia Marleveld, I think. Oh, I did not do that good justice. But it's 13 hours long, so it's a little bit longer. And this one follows Mila Pavlichenko, and I only know how to say that because of Saskia. So she is a Russian sniper. She's one of the most successful, not the one of them, she's the most successful Russian sniper during World War II. You can't help but fall in love with her as a character and her reasoning why she became a sniper, and her methodology, and her she's just a brilliant woman. And so it follows her, not only her sniper career, but also as she was kind of put into the spotlight and used as propaganda by what was Soviet Union then, by them, and sent over to like the United States. She gets to meet Eleanor Roosevelt, and I loved that kind of story in it. It was just so beautifully written and beautifully done. And again, because I got to kind of hear it through her, I felt like I was listening to Mila. Like, it was just so good. It was so good. Then we have more of a contemporary one. We have Hello Stranger by Catherine Center. This is narrated by Patty Murin. This is about 10.5 hours long. And again, depending on how quickly, what kind of speed you're set at, because you can adjust your speed for audiobooks. It could be quicker. If you do 2 times speed, you could get this done in 5 hours. This one follows Sadie. She's this sweet, sweet woman who is a bit of a struggling artist. She is still trying to find her footing. And she finds out that she got accepted to compete in this artistic competition, and she basically paints portraits. And she has the opportunity to partake in this. And unfortunately, at the same time, she realizes that she's going through some health issues and she has to have brain surgery. They assure her it's quick and fine and will be a quick recovery, but we have to get it done now. And so she's like, all right, let's do it before I have to do this competition. Well, she wakes up and she is suffering from a complication from the surgery and basically has face blindness. But she paints portraits, but she can't see people's faces. So Patty does an amazing job, again, giving us the worry and angst and confusion that Sadie is going through as she's still trying to survive as an artist and live this life, but also hoping and praying and getting through this complication from the surgery. So really, really great. Catherine Center can do no wrong in my eyes. I loved that book so, so much. And then the last book I want to talk about is a nonfiction, which I really do enjoy listening to nonfiction books. I don't know why or what it is, but I tend to have a better, it's just more enjoyable for me. Anyways, this one is Tailspin. This is by John Armbruster, and I feel like this book is not talked about nearly enough. It follows the main character, it's read by Brandon Pollock, which again does a fantastic job doing this. But John writes about, and I can't think of his name. It is set in Wisconsin. He joins the Air Force for World War II. He is on a bombing plane and it gets shot at in the sky. He ends up falling 4 miles into German territory and ends up becoming a POW. So John is telling this story, or writing this story, about, this is gonna bug me, I gotta look it up. Jean Moran. Oh my goodness. Jean Moran is what the story is about for Tailspin. John ends up meeting Jean they live in rural Wisconsin, kind of down by the Madison area, and learns about his story. And John he's a teacher. He's just like, but no, he couldn't help but tell this story to his students, and then they kind of convinced him to write this book. But Jean was a tail gunner in World War II. His plane got shot down. He fell 4 miles out of the air and survived. In German territory, was taken to a POW camp, of course had injuries and had to survive those, but it really just tells his story. It also gives you a glimpse into John Armbruster's life at the same time, and their very unique connection that they created while he was learning about his life. So again, Brandon Pollock is the narrator. He does a fantastic job with this book. This one is 12 hours long. Again, if you speed it up a little bit, which it can easily be sped up, you could get this one done in a day, and I promise you, you will love this story so much. And again, I don't think this book is talked about enough. It only has like 500 reviews, and it's so good. So of all of these books, go get that one. It is on Everand. So if you do subscribe to Everand, which used to be Scribd, go listen to it now. It's so fantastic. Anyways, those are my 5 audiobooks that I have for you today that I highly recommend. Go download all of them, but really just go get Tailspin. Okay. And then come back and we'll talk about it. Head over to Sarah's channel and see what she has for us today. Otherwise, like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye.